Hello, and welcome to Raquel at Stockton. I'm your host, Raquel Ordonez, and I would like to begin by thanking our sponsors, First Amendment expert Greg Lukianoff and social psychologist Jonathan Haidt, the authors of The Coddling of the American Mind. This book shows how three great untruths, the untruth of fragility, the untruth of emotional reasoning, and the untruth of us versus them, contradict ancient wisdom and rudimentary psychological principles of resilience. Working together, Lukianoff and Haidt explored changes in childhood, such as the rise of institutional safetyism in the last decade, to reveal how the societal embracement of these untruths, in conjunction with the resulting culture of safetyism, without a doubt interferes with the child's overall development, making it harder for them to become competent and autonomous adults. Not only this, but it is also affecting the institutions themselves and students' learning development. As a result, speakers are shut down. Students and professors are afraid to speak up, and rates of anxiety, depression, and suicide are rising. I'm here with Harry Acharya, a freshman here at Stockton University, to discuss these topics. Hi, Harry. Now let's take this one step at a time. Why do you believe these rates of anxiety, depression, and suicide are rising within our society?
Yeah, I think institutions like colleges and universities play a big role in the increased rates of depression and anxiety amongst teens, especially because within campuses you see that there's always like a safetyism sort of mindset that they use to protect students from the various ideas and things that might be common in the real world, but within the campus it's supposed to be safe for the students for I guess their learning growth, but instead it impacts their mental health negatively because they're not actively being prepared for the things they might see out in the real world.
Exactly. So would you say that although freedom of speech is greatly encouraged, it's only as long as it has restrictions?
Yeah, I think freedom of speech is a great thing to bring up here because the constant fear of hurting other people's feelings or even challenging another person's belief is always brought up in today's schools and campuses and stuff.
And I completely agree. Students today definitely feel less comfortable voicing their opinions because they're not sure what other colleagues or professors may think or say, therefore distorting the education process. What do you feel is the issue with preventing this freedom of speech? For example, shutting down speakers or not allowing others to attend certain events?
Yeah, I think it's a big problem, especially amongst college campuses. There was an incident where a group of students protested against a speaker by using physical violence and basically rioting down the campus because they considered the speaker's speech to be violent. Now, this is a slippery slope because it's always open to the person's interpretation whether or not the speech is actually violent. In reality, though, words don't really have that sort of power, but the emotions they invoke can likely cause these sort of actions to come through.
Definitely. Words that give rise to stress or fear for members of some group are now often regarded as a form of violence when speech is not violence. In a conversation at the University of Chicago's Institute for Politics, progressive activist Van Jones delivered some of the best stoic and anti-fragile advice for college students. In his words, he basically said, "I don't want you to be safe ideologically. I want you to be strong. Put on some boots and learn how to deal with adversity." Now, how do you feel about this?
I mean, I completely agree. What he's basically saying is that discomfort is not danger. We should, as students, be actually working towards facing things that scare us or even a form of adversity because that's what's truly going to build us at the end of the day.
Definitely. So, what steps do you think that these institutions should take then?
I think institutions play a big role in with this rate of anxiety and depression amongst our teens. So I think they also have a big weight when it comes to solving this issue. So I think education should not be just forced to make people comfortable. It should actually make people step outside of their comfort zone and hear things that are not aligned with what they normally believe. They should also teach kids to debate with each other in a civil way rather than, considering words to be violent and resorting to physical violence as a means to stop things. Coursework that promotes, reasoned thinking and overall better judgment is what's going to improve college students' ability to combat these mental health issues at the end of the day. And I also think that safetyism should be slowly removed from campuses because it doesn't imitate the real world accurately at the end of the day.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much, Harry. Children, like many other complex adaptive systems, are anti-fragile. Children must be exposed to challenges and stressors, or they will fail to mature into strong and capable adults. In order to combat this, institutions and society altogether must support a new national norm. If we endeavor to cultivate intellectual virtues alongside freedom of speech, most students will be ready for virtually anything. If we want to raise a generation of children who can deal with adversity of all kinds, we need to get our educational practices in line with combating safetyism and the untruth of fragility. This has been Raquel at Stockton with your host, Raquel. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.